Good morning and greetings from Northumberland today. It's Thursday, the 10th of November, the eve of Remembrance Day, Armistice Day, and more about that tomorrow. It's a dry, dark morning here in November. And as we continue our journey through this season of saints and heroes of the faith, we come today to Pope Leo the Great, one of those people who we remember him, but we don't know maybe as much about him as we think we do. He was a bishop and a teacher of the faith, and he died right in the middle of the 5th century, the year 461, after having been pope for about 20 years. He became pope in about 440. And when he became pope, he was in fact living in Gaul in France and working to negotiate peace between two warring generals at the time. And he was pope during a time when the Western Empire, the Western Roman Empire, was beginning to break up with waves of barbarians, with a lot of political upheaval, with a lot of confusion. And Rome itself was at risk, and the church was at risk. And one of the primary acts of his papacy was to cement the position of the church in Rome and to preserve the peace of the city. So he was both a politician and a churchman, and he worked to form and to build the church. He didn't go to the Council of Chalcedon, which happened during his papacy, but he sent representatives. And what I want to look at just for 1 second is something he wrote in one of his sermons. Many of his sermons are preserved. In one he wrote, "We should not be afraid that our world resources will decrease if we practice mercy, if we practice charity. For Christian poverty is always rich because it has something more valuable." But what I want to also look at is this. Christians, remember your dignity. As you become a partner in God's nature, refuse to return to the old wicked behavior. Remember the head of the body which you are members of. Remember that you were rescued from the powers of darkness and brought out into God's light and kingdom. Remember that you were rescued from the powers of darkness. We live in difficult times in our own country, difficult times in the world, difficult times for Ukraine and Iran. And it sometimes feels like the powers of darkness are prowling around, as the Apostle Peter said, and we have to resist them strong in the faith. For Leo, this was something on a massive scale. But for us, it's also true. It's easy to succumb to darkness and despair. It's easy to feel overwhelmed by the things that are going on around us. But Leo says, remember the one who is the head. Remember the one of whose body you are members. Remember that you are rescued from the powers of darkness and brought to live in God's light and God's kingdom. So let us walk in the light and seek to be lights in our communities, in our families, alongside our friends, so that the light of Christ will always burn for the good of all. May God bless us. May God bless the people of Ukraine. May God lead us in the way of light and help us to bring light to dark places like Iran or to dark places in our own society. May God hold us in his love.